Ooh. How's it going, guys? It's Craig back at you for another home brewing video. This time we're going to talk a little bit about something slightly different. What I want to do is I want to briefly show you how to kind of soup up a beer kit. Okay. Now we all know we can add dry malt extract, we can add a second can of liquid malt extract. Sometimes those things can be a little bit expensive, and it's still an extract beer. You're not adding anything fresh to it really. So what I'm going to do, and I've done this before, and I have a taste test at the end of the video, which I'll talk about in a minute. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take a can of Australian bitter. Okay, this is Cooper's Select Premium Selection Australian bitter, and I'm going to soup this kit up into a partial extract beer kit. Now the difference between using just standard malt extract and a kit like this is that this already has bittering hops in it. So you actually don't have to do a 1 hour boil with this because it's already got the bitter in it. Now, I've already done this with a can of Cooper's English bitter, and I have a taste test at the end of this video of me tasting that beer. It's exactly the same procedure that I'm about to show you now. I don't want to do a big production this time. I'm going to grab my camera when I'm finished talking. I'm going to bring it over here, and I'm just going to show you first person exactly what I'm doing. Okay, it's dead easy, and it gives you a really good beer at the end. So what I have is 1 can of Cooper's English bitter. You can use the English bitter or the Australian bitter. I haven't tried this one yet, but I'm sure it'll be fine, just as long as it's a bitter. Although you can do it with any beer kit, with any canned beer kit. I'm just choosing to use the bitter ones. Okay, so I have that. I also have some high malt glucose, and I've seen this on other videos now. More people are starting to use it, so if you can get your hands on some high malt glucose, it's going to add a little bit of fermentability to your beer. It'll give you a little more alcohol, and it won't affect the flavor at all. You don't have to use it though. If you don't have it or you can't get it, then don't worry about it. I wouldn't go dumping in 6 cups of dextrose or sugar to this recipe, but adding a little bit doesn't hurt. So if you can't get this, you can do that, or you don't have to do either of them. Just leave it without any dextrose or whatever at all. So I have the can, I have that. I also have 2 pounds of 2-row and 1 pound of Crystal 60 Lovibond. Okay, so I have those all set to go. And I have like ½ an ounce of Northern Brewer hops. Choose whatever type of hops you like, Cascade, whatever you like. Malt extract, fermentable, grains, hops, and about 1.5 gallons of water, which I'm now heating up. Okay, and here's a thermometer that I'm going to use to monitor the temperature. It's dead easy. It's a great way to get a partial extract beer without having to spend the extra time doing a boil, and you're using a quality kit that's already been pre-hopped and ready to go. Plus you're using fresh ingredients, so you're going to get that nice fresh flavor. Okay, so I've talked long enough. Let's get started. I'm going to grab my camera, and away we go. Okay, here we are. I have my about 1.5 gallons of water here, and I've heated it up to 162 Fahrenheit. And because I know that it's going to go down a little bit during the addition of these grains, so I'm doing this kind of one-handed here. So I'm just going to pick this up, and I'm going to put it into the pot. But it's going to take 2 hands because it's a big bag. So I'll be back with you in a second. Okay, there we are. Just gonna press that down. Try to get the water all in between the grains. And we'll see that our temperature has gone down a couple of degrees. I'm not really frantic about the exact temperature of the water. Okay, then I'm gonna grab my crystal grains, put them in separately. Okay, so that's pretty much it for now. I think we're going to see the temperature go down to 150 something, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the cover on, and I'm going to closely monitor the temperature for a few minutes, and when it starts to drop down, I'll put my heat on very, very, very low just to stabilize it and keep it at about 157. And I'm going to leave this for about an hour and a half. So in the meantime, it's time for me to go answer some messages on YouTube, and I'll just keep an eye on this and make sure it doesn't go too high or too low. Okay guys, so I've basically steeped or mashed these grains for an hour and a half. And I don't have any iodophore or any sort of litmus test that I can do to see whether I've got conversion, but what I have done is I just took a spoon and I tasted the wort as soon as I put the grains in, and it turned all brown. And then I tasted it now, and it's actually very sweet right now, so I know that I've got the sugars out of there, and I'm ready to take these out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put them into a bowl. Then I'm going to put the strainer on top of the pot, and I'm going to sparge them, which means I'm going to pour some hot water over them, about 170 degrees Fahrenheit, to get the last bit of flavor and goodness out of the grains. Okay, so now we have our sweet wort created from those grains. The only thing about doing it this way is that you're not able to batch sparge, which means you're not able to filter the wort through the grains and end up with a clear runoff. So this wort is not clear. But I've never had a problem with it as long as I've got my Whirlfloc tablets. It does clear eventually when I put it in the keg and leave it for a while. So I'm now heating this. I'm going to bring it to the boil, and as soon as it boils, I'm going to add my flavor hops, because again, the bittering has already been done in the malt extract that we have, which I have over here heating up in a pot along with my high malt glucose. So it's easier to pour it in when it's time to pour it in. Okay, as we're approaching the boil, I realized that I neglected to mention the fact that there's going to be what's called a hot break. And when this comes to a boil, there's going to be a lot of foam on top, and it's going to rise up, and you really have to watch and be ready to take the pot off the burner or turn the heat down so it doesn't overflow. Once that hot break passes and you've got a nice rolling boil, that's when you can add your hops. And this is flavoring hops. Again, we don't need to bitter this because the malt extract's already been bittered. So we're gonna, once that we reach the hot break and put our hops in, I'm gonna boil this for 10 minutes. Then I'm gonna flame off, take it downstairs and cool it, and add water to it to make 5 gallons, finish it off. So there, you can see the hop break has passed. And now I'm ready to plop in my hops. Set our timer for 10 minutes. Take it off the heat. A couple of whirl flocks. Now my main focus now is to get this down into a sink full of cold ice water so I can get it cooled off. Always drink a home brew while you're making a home brew. Okay, so that was fun. Home brewing can be a little bit time consuming when you add these extra steps, but it can be worth it. But that saves a little bit of time, what you saw there, because you don't have to do the full 1 hour boil. Okay, so in a couple of weeks I'll do a taste test. Now, I did the exact same thing as I mentioned with the English bitter, and what happened was I shot the video, and when I went to edit it, I discovered the video was gone. I don't know whether I accidentally deleted it, or I don't know, but it's not there, and that's why I decided to reshoot the video. But when I went down to get my Cooper's English bitter kit, my supplier was out of them. As a matter of fact, they're currently on back order from Cooper's. So, that's a very popular kit, is the Cooper's English bitter. So that's why I bought the Australian bitter. It's going to be a different taste, and we'll see that in a couple weeks when it's ready. But in the meantime, I still have the taste test from when I did that with the English bitter. I used the exact same procedure you just saw, exactly the same, except it was an English bitter instead of an Australian bitter. And I do have the taste test. We're going to look at it right now, and in a couple of weeks we'll taste the one we just did. And this one here too was a little experiment I did as well. It's not quite cleared up yet. When it does, we'll do a taste test, and I'll explain how I made that one. Okay, so here's the taste test of the souped up Cooper's English bitter. Okay, well there it is. It's actually clearer than it was. So it's yeah, I wish I had a light, but I don't, so I forgot. But maybe if I just bring up something here on the internet. There we go. Still can't see it? Okay, well we won't worry about it. It's a little hazy, but it's actually not too bad. I'm really pleased with the way this turned out. The English bitter from Cooper's is already a nice beer kit, and when you add these grains to it and that extra little hop addition, it really kicks it up more than a notch. It's very, very, very good. It's got a nice malty aroma to it, and the hops that I put in are just enough, not too much. They're sort of balanced with the bittering hop, and they don't overpower the malt flavor. That's because I've already tasted it, so I know what it tastes like. So that's for aroma. Let's give it a try. As I said, I've already tasted it, but it's nutty and biscuity, and it's a bitter style beer. So if you don't like a bitter style beer, then you won't want to do this. Try it with a different kit. The bitter hop and the flavor hop I added to it. I didn't add the bitter, as you know. I just added the flavor hop. They're balanced. In fact, the flavor hop has died down a little bit since I first kegged this, which is, that's going to happen. And of course, it's cleared a bit too, so that's taking into consideration as well. So it has a really nice, a little more toward the bitter side, but it's got that overtone of the Cascade that I added to it. So what would I call this beer? I don't know. English brown? I don't know. But I would love you guys to try this. It's very nice beer. It doesn't taste like you just made it out of a kit. It definitely tastes more towards, what I would consider, a partial extract, or, definitely getting up there on the ladder of quality. It's very nice. Definitely worth it. It only took me about 3 hours to make this too. And it's a partial extract. And that's because I didn't have to boil the wort, because the bittering hops were already in the malt extract. So now again, you don't want to boil the malt extract. Keep that in mind. You add it at the end, and when you're finished your hop thing and your whole boil of the wort that you created with the grains, you add the Cooper's English Bitter at the end. I know there's a couple guys on YouTube that are going to probably try this. I hope you do. The recipe, I put it up on the screen, so you can pick your own grains, but I just think that this is a really cool way to bump up your beer kit and get yourself used to using the grains and the hops, and have a little bit of fun and make a darn good beer out of it. Very nice. Very good. That's all for today. Take care, guys. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Cheers.